a month, 10 lakhs a month just to hang out.
कम बोल रहे हो आप? Anyway.
कम बोल रहे Okay, I'm just saying it could be.
I know, exactly.
I'm just giving an analogy for like common people.
Is it the Punjabi name or the Khan market?
I'm just saying. I think that has to have that will have an impact.
Your area.
No. It was nice that when he said 5-10 lakhs, the tone was that's changed for me. You know.
That's like an unemployment allowance, like you know.
No, but hang on.
Just it's like 3,000 a month. You have a husband and wife or like a girlfriend boyfriend, 6,000 rupees.
नहीं हमको जोर हाथ की बात करनी है, जोर बात की नहीं.
If she's pregnant, she's 21,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees a month, 21,000 for the baby. I mean, you know, it's a good life.
Yeah, but that's exactly what Mamata Banerjee tried to highlight the other day, saying, why do you have to go out?
It keeps you above. You know,
keeps you alive.
Yeah, it keeps you alive. It's above sustenance. But
Jhalmuri was 10 rupees.
But you know, I'll also tell you that there is a little bit of anger also, Nalin.
Yeah.
You know, there is a bit of anger because some of the central schemes which should have applied on the ground were sort of held back. So there is that aspect also, isn't there? I mean, there is political competition, but some people have got caught in the middle.
Whether it's Nariga, whether there are schemes like PM Awas and so on, there has been an issue between the centre and the state. I want to make a larger point about the money. The total SOPs announced in West Bengal, additional to the regular scheme of things, is worth around 18,630 crores, which is around 16.5 to 17% of state revenues, additional to what was planned before this. So if Trinamool wins and these SOPs have to be done, then it's going to put a serious pressure on state finances. By the way, that's true for all states going to election this time. Except in West Bengal, the percentage of state revenue is the highest, 16 to 17%. In other states, it's around 7.4% in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, 4.3%.
So they can't afford it.
They can't afford it.
Exactly.
That is no reason to not do a party.
The point is.
Making a serious point. I was going to have some fun. You please come.
Anand, the point is that look, right now what we are seeing on our screens is really a vote to the finish, so to speak. There is every voter is coming out there, which says that there is a lot even at stake for the voter. We are constantly focusing on the parties, but look at the way the voter is coming in. So clearly there are issues that need to be addressed from that side of the fence, Smita Prakash. I think the voter realizes that this also is a point of inflection for it.
You know what you were saying about welfare? In every state election, we've been watching this, whether it's the welfare vote or not. And if it's the welfare vote which is going to come in the favor of BJP in West Bengal, that's interesting because welfare has been a solid focus point for the Mamata government. She is focused on that, Mahila welfare, general welfare. So if despite that, there's an anti-incumbency vote, which means that they want more. It's welfare plus that they're looking out. And that's the same thing in Tamil Nadu that we'll be looking for, because that's exactly what Stalin's plank has been. So if it's going to be an anti-DMK, forget the complex issue of, you know, an actor turned politician now and it becoming complicated. But if Stalin faces an anti-incumbency, and that could be because they want welfare plus. We've gone beyond that roti kapda pani stage. We've gone beyond the sadak and what were the other two that were bijli sadak thing. We've gone beyond that, and it means more. It means like you know, you're going beyond Ujjwala.
Just a sidebar. IPAC was advising both TMC and
they've gone bankrupt, supposedly.
And the DMK, and the narrative seem to be similar. The strategies employed seem to be similar. And this welfare plus, what is that plus? Fill in the blanks is O. O is opportunity within the state, not having to go out of the state. That a lot of people said. Yeah, quickly viewers, I was just trying to tell you, this person, he is perhaps the nerd in our group. Big one. And in a positive sense. यहाँ note है, सारे note है, पर ये लक्ष्मी नहीं है, सरस्वती है. So that's the point I wanted to make. Quickly, does a higher voter turnout benefit the BJP or not? Across Bharat since 2014, multiple elections that we have tracked, at least 15 of them, 2/3 of the time, 66%, a higher voter turnout has translated into victory and turns for the BJP. Either they have continued to retain power or they have displaced the incumbent. But it's turned out in favor of the BJP. So that's the number. Out of 15 such elections, we tracked about 34, 23 was the number. But if you look at the NDA and the BJP involved, 15 such cases, state and national, and it's a 66% win for us. So 2 out of 3 times a higher voter turnout helps the BJP. Let's now look at how the voter turnout has impacted. Okay, we got the phase 2 number till 3 p.m. 80.7 was the overall 2021 average. It's 78.68. We should get the 5 p.m. update very, very soon. Let's move to the quickly. Over the years from 2001 to 2021, how has Bengal voter turnout impacted the results? We'll try and see that. And also the arithmetic. If we can look at the arithmetic. Now, this is something which, viewers, we need to spend some time on. This is 2021. The total voters were 3.8 crore in phase 1 and 3.6 crore in phase 2. So it was 7.3 crore voters. The absolute number of votes polled was 3.1 crore in phase 1 and 3 crore in phase 2. So overall, about 6 crore, 6.1 crore was the absolute number. This is rounded off decimals, and that's why. So 81%, 83%, and the state average was around 82%. Interestingly, the total number of votes polled in phase 1 in 2026 is 3.3 crore already. 3.3 crore already out of a lower base of 3.6 crore voters, but a higher percentage turnout of 93. So what is this number? Let's try and understand this number. In phase 2, if there are 2.7 crore voters who poll votes, just 2.7 crore votes, that is about 85% of the turnout. If we have 85% voter turnout here, we will have net 10 lakh more voters overall voting already in Bengal. But if I want to have the same number of 3 crore voters here in phase 2, I need to have a voter turnout of 93%. That's the thing. And if I have a turnout of 93%, this number will go up to 6.3 crore. We will have 3.3 crore voters coming around.
The total voters has gone down quite a bit. Like if you see total, just look at total voters.
The total voters have gone down.
Total voters has come down because of the SIR
50 lakhs. That's a lot. And normally you would expect a growth, right? Because new people are coming in.
So that's where the problem is. The problem is, who are these non-voters voting for?
Correct.
And how did they impact the overall
How
result?
come there were 50 lakh people?
There you go.
In fact, there'll probably be more, right? Like new 18-year-olds are coming. We have a pyramid, population
so this
pyramid.
SIR,
so you're like a 70-80 like deletions.
So the overall base is the deletions plus the additions.
Correct.
So those additions are again about 26 lakh votes who have been added on. 23 to 25 lakh votes have been added on also, which is the young voters, new voters, first time voters, everything. This is the overall base after subtractions and additions. This is the overall base, and yes, there is a differential because the number of people who were dead, displaced, migrant, moved on is far greater. It was a huge grouping. It was a huge number.
Who live in Bombay, they have a vote in Mumbai, they also have a vote back in their hometown. Large number of such cases, even where people have asked for deletions to be done in the past. I know of cases where new vote was assigned, but the previous vote was not deleted.
Many
So it's a
people
clean
don't
up.
do it.
10%.
They want to vote in the
Correct.
villages
10%.
simply because many of them think that अगर हमने गांव में vote नहीं दिया, then our cousin can take that land away because they say, अरे तुम तो मुंबई में रहते हो, तुम तो वहाँ काम करते हो, so buy your land there. This is our land because you neither have an address out here nor are you voting here. Many people have gone back to vote because तुम्हारी जमीन छीन जाएगी. This kind of
तुम्हारे सारे बाकी कागज
Yeah.
दस्तावेज सारे छूट जाएंगे क्योंकि व्हाट्स बीइंग सेड कि नेक्स्ट जो होने वाला है एनआरसी होने वाला है और अपना वोटर का पर्चा बचा के रख लेना वरना एनआरसी में तुमको निकाल
देंगे. So this is all the rumors which I wonder because it's gone on Reddit, it's gone on WhatsApp, it's gone on Facebook. So who circulated this? I don't want to believe that it's very organic, knowing
तृणमूल कांग्रेस नेता came up and said कि बंगाल में तो यही बोल रहे हैं कि अपना वोटर का पर्चा संभालो, अगला एनआरसी होने वाला नहीं तो तुमको
There's a lot of conspiracies that maybe it's these election management gurus who spread this, and then you had these special trains taking people or for certain denomination or whatever you want to know, all of them running away from all the satellite towns of Delhi, Bombay, Delhi, Bombay, Chennai, Kerala, wherever they were working. The Bengali workers were working in those factories. Suddenly you saw everybody, even Rajasthan. and these were like, you know, jewelry workers and people like that, who the karigars are all from Bengal, and suddenly those guys shut down everything and they just took the first train available. Why this panic, you know, of just going to cast their
That
votes?
is the point, because I want to make a point here.
Yes,
Rahul,
please.
that the point you were making earlier about anger. Now on SIR, people have had to go at least 3 times
Yeah.
by various accounts for verification.
Yeah.
Now among the people who've had to go, among the big, about 22, 30 lakh, whatever migrant workers, there are some who are Bhadralok, the Khan Market gang, as Chetan made the point about.
I never use that term.
Park Street,
Right.
at
So there
least.
is
Yes, it's
that
different.
is a small
Jodhpur is not
substratum, but then there's a very large group of people who work as diamond workers, but as, you know, maids,
Surat, yeah,
all of those.
all of them, textile.
Now, for them, going 2 or 3 times, there's been an economic cost to it. They went because it was a matter of life and death for them, right? So
It isn't a matter of life and death, but they presume it
they
is a
presume,
matter.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that also has led to a significant amount of anger. So one, there was this need to preserve the vote. Then there was this anger, why do I have to come back?
89%.
How did
Red
that
alert, red alert, red
90%
alert.
till 5.
89, 90% turnout till 5 p.m. Yes, we've got the number here. Yes, 89.99%. ये 0.1 Q, 0.01 Q.
It's like the CBSE 10th results, that they just keeps going up.
No, Bata shoes.
Yeah,
It's Bata shoes.
90 तो हो गया देखिए, so that if you go back, so 89.99% at 5 p.m. so that benchmark of 85% turnout to match the same number, that's been crossed already.
Right.
So if we have to now catch up, so at this rate 93% can be breached. That means both phase 1 and phase 2 we will have more number of voters than 2021, despite a lower base.
Maybe a lot of the voters were bots, equivalents, right? They just weren't there. They just, like the SIR deletions were people who weren't there. They were just lowering our turnout.
There was this concept of
Right.
chappa vote.
वही हो रहा है
Ghost
ना।
voters.
Now, there's this concept of chappa vote. This chappa vote means
Yeah.
it's not neither Hindu, Muslim, not the religious
Post
denomination.
12 noon.
But these people were there on the voter list, non-existent, but उनके वोट छप जाते थे. और वो बूथ बंद कर करके वोट छप जाते थे. So this chappa vote concept was there. So a
So you
huge
take
percentage
this-
could be
Even
that.
dead voters. So these were booth voting at the booths.
But if
which
for,
was happening.
for one moment one were to suspend the usual narrative that you can't really tell which way a higher voter turnout is going. Now we've done this study and we can pull those figures
yes,
back
yes.
up again, perhaps even on the wall behind me, where we have shown that 66.6% of the time when the turnout is increased over the last few years in various state elections, the NDA has benefited.
We just put that out.
We just put that out, and if you juxtapose that, the preponderance of this voter turnout, there it
Yeah,
is on
sounds
your
good.
screens, viewers, the preponderance of this voter turnout benefiting the BJP grows. And perhaps that's why the BJP seems so confident. I don't know.
The other thing is that you have created an environment for the voter to turn out in larger numbers than before at a lower base. That means you've created something's worked.
But you
the
know
presence
what
of
is
central
interesting,
forces,
Anand?
you know,
And
the EC
it's lesser
cracking down.
phases. There used to be seven phases
Yeah,
in
7
Bengal.
phases.
This is an unmanageable place.
Okay, so
And
what
now
is
2
very
phases, they have
interesting
more
is,
turnout.
and I don't know if we have that number, but we were looking at vote shares from different aspects.
Yes,
so
we'll go to
if
that
you just pull out what is happening on those border constituencies.
Before we come to the borders, let's pick up the binary aspect of it, that is the Muslims and the Hindu population, how they have come out and voted. So if we can call out the phase 2 turnout, okay, we got the border, this one. So this is in border regions.
Yeah.
Interestingly, we plot the border, and this is the area, the assembly constituencies in this, because this phase is already over. So it will be largely concentrated in this region. So the turnout 2021, it was 81% in Bagda. Right now, 2026, it's 75% at 3 p.m. So the 5 p.m. numbers have not yet been updated. It will get updated. So it is sure to get closer to this number. Then Bangaon, Dakshin, again 78% voter turnout by 3 p.m. whereas the overall voter turnout last time around was 88%. In Boshirhat, Dakshin, again 78% by 3 p.m. it was 89%.
But can I just
won by
add
the
some
Trinamool
perspective
Congress.
on this
Yeah.
as we are going? Look, what we were trying to say here is not how it compares with 2021, but how these are actually
lower than the average of the overall average
just
at 3
1 minute.
p.m.
At 3 p.m., the average voter turnout was 78.68%
Yeah.
in phase 2. Now let's go back.
Let's go to
back
Bagda.
one by
so
one.
If we call back Bagda, if
to
we
Bagra,
refresh this
to
and go back to
is
Bagda
at-
again.
Yeah, so Bagra at 3 p.m. was at 75%,
Yeah.
which is 3.5% lower
Correct.
than the average voter turnout at that hour.
This is
then
a
we
seat
look
won by BJP at 81% the last time around. So
Yes.
interesting.
Then let's look at Bangaon Dakshin.
Bangaon Dakshin is the
That's
next.
also
Bangaon Dakshin
about-
is at
Yeah, that
78% again. So
Yes.
it's about 0.5%.
1.5% lower. 1% lower. Basirhat Dakshin.
Yeah.
78.68 is the average voter turnout at 3 p.m. and this is at 77.57.
No, this is at 78%. 78% is
No,
what-
actually,
okay.
to be very
That-
honest, they
the
rounded it
decimals,
off there.
okay.
It's
So about a
77
1% difference.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's 77.57. Basithar Uttar is at
Yeah, the next one,
78.68.
Basithar.
So it's equal exactly to the 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Badura is 76.79.
Yeah.
So these have all been rounded off. I think someone hasn't really understood what we were trying to do there. We're going to try and correct this. But fundamentally, when we get the
1
full
to
data,
2%.
when we get the full data, you see that most of these constituencies, apart from Gosaba, are actually polling under the average.
Yeah.
at that hour,
Gosava was far higher. Yeah.
under the state average at that hour. So that is an interesting trend. Why do you think this is?
I think how much a particular assembly constituency records, what percentage of voting it records, depends on historical factors. So some areas, because even now a significant number of people who are not voting may not be living there. See, let's be, all those who have cleared the SIR process, let's not assume all of them live all the time there. There may be some people going out to work. So we need to understand the local geographical dynamics. One important point I want to make: why more voters may have polled this time than earlier. Another factor is the value of a vote. The importance of a vote has better been understood when this entire SIR process has been undertaken. Because when you realize that people who have been careless, who did not, let's say, live there, a lot of them having lost vote, people have understood the preciousness of a vote. That may also have contributed to more people to go out and vote this time. And a lot of people may have gone back to vote this time. Like,
सर ये but इसमें ये भी है कि
A lot of
BJP
people
के लिए
have.
गुस्सा भी हो सकता है.
A lot of
because
people
they will
have.
say कि it is the BJP which is making us do because the ACI is doing SIR, so it's the BJP which is making us do it. So मेरे को इतना मेहनत करा रहे हैं, वोट करा रहे हैं, I may just get angry.
you see, this assumption. A lot of people said SIR in Bihar is going to be counterproductive to the BJP. It didn't happen that way. So SIR is not to benefit or to harm BJP. SIR is a cleanup
So
process.
there is a theory that these particular border regions and these constituencies are polling under the average, the state average, because perhaps a large number of people have been taken out. Number two, that propensity to vote, that chappa vote, this time under the security blanket has been removed from the equation.
That if these assemblies are recording a lower turnout compared to the previous
Yes.
election, always
Yes.
you have to see in comparison to the
That's
previous
right.
election.
Yes.
Because every constituency has a particular behavior.
And how many
So
have
no,
been
we put
deleted?
we
Yes.
put those numbers
May I make a
compared to the
May I
absolute
make a
number.
point?
Yeah,
When we're
but
looking
we're
at this
also
election-
looking at the average, overall state average. They are polling lower than the state average.
Anand,
also.
may I
In
make a
fact,
point?
on an average, one second, on an average in the 24 Parganas and the 20 South and the 24 Parganas North, we can even show you that SIR deletion data. It's quite heavy per constituency, the average.
This is the TMC stronghold
This
that you're
is- this
talking
is the
about.
TMC stronghold.
But then
These are also
one has to
Muslim
see that,
dominated.
of the 90 lakh or whatever
Let's get that,
deletions,
SIR deletions.
just 1/3 are Muslim deletions.
Yeah.
So actually more Hindu deletions have taken place. So you can't think, and then you don't know in this state, in the Hindu deletions, now what does it mean? Hindu community doesn't vote as a block for either the TMC
In fact,
or the
60%
BJP.
of the
There's
votes
no
last time were
consolidation.
Trinamool.
Smita
Yeah.
Prakash,
40% were
there is
Hindu
a
votes.
difference here. You see, we don't know how many of those Hindus were living Hindus
And how many were dead Hindus.
or dead Hindus
Or migrated.
had
Yeah,
migrated.
it's so bizarre. That's
So somebody was casting a vote in their name.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So it's not just that, okay, there were people who are illegals who got onto the voter list, but there are also dead people and missing people and people who've immigrated who are also voting, by the way.
very Manoj Knight Shyamalan. I see dead people.
Interestingly, phase 1 at 5 p.m. was 89.9%.
Yeah.
Phase 2 at 5 p.m. is 90%. So they are actually going neck and neck and mirroring each other in terms of the overall voter turnout. And in 2021,
Amazing.
overall,
And this is so many people go out to work and still the turnout is 90%.
How many people go out to work in Bengal? There is.
Oh wow, that's quite a.
That is,
Well, they said-
that
no,
is
no,
a politician in GVL
no,
Narsimha speaking. That
Bhawanipur
when
mein dekhiye,
BJP comes to
Bhawanipur mein
power, no one will be
4.5%
voting.
extra
But
voter
hang on, it might also be that there's a holiday. You see, don't forget
Yeah,
that the state does, the EC does say that you can take the day off. So, polling
Or coming
in
late to
our
I'm saying they're
country-
saying there are no jobs
No,
and
in our
husbands have to
country,
go
coming late
out.
to work.
No, I mean that's too simplistic. In our country, look, this is a sacrosanct principle, and we honor it, we respect it, and we go out and vote.
See,
That's why it creates so much problems when people actually don't exercise their franchise, because then they're being irresponsible, given the premium that people put at voting.
I think we should
I would
also
make a
salute
psychological
the
point,
people,
Rahul.
voters of Bengal for coming out in such large numbers
Absolutely.
and setting an example. You know,
I mean,
to
even
come
the
out-
US is 50%.
Yeah,
The
but
so-called.
so imagine 9 out of 10 voters in Bengal in phase 1
And in
and
the
now
US,
already
of
now
course,
have
you don't
come out
even
to
need
vote.
an ID card to vote. So I don't even know why they're not coming out. Anyhow, yes.
Coming to cephalological point.
Yeah.
just
When
go
we are
and vote.
looking for
You mean to
what-
say we were not making any substantial
I want to
cephalogical
make an
points?
additional cephalogical point, which is this, that you're not looking for a swing across the state.
Nalin ki baat
Where
note
the
kare.
swing matters, if you get a 2 or 2.5% swing in about 50 odd seats, that will change this whole election. And those are battleground seats which were won by less than 50%, less than 5% difference last time, or where there were big swing between
How
2016
many
and
of those?
2021.
Give me the math on that.
Right. So there are some which are in North Bengal, which are in BJP areas. There are some which are in Jungle Mahal, which are more volatile. But some of those are in Kolkata. Now, which seats which are won by low margins or seats which saw huge changes between 16 and 21. You just need a 2-3% swing here. That election may be decided in those 50-60 seats and not necessarily even if everything else remains equal.
And the
Let me give you
SIR
some numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Seats BJP lost narrowly in the last elections. Narrowly in the sense below 5,000, 10,000 votes. Below 10,000 votes is about 75
yes.
seats.
Yes.
Below 10,000. So if you are able to gain 10,000
Yeah.
votes in every assembly, you will
It's
get
not even gain, sir.
one
Let me put some question to what
SIR
he's saying.
deletions
Rahul.
are helping you
No,
out.
you see,
Let's
SIR
have a look.
Yes, you see,
Can we see the SIR deletions? Yeah. Yeah, if we have the...
SIR doesn't help either party.
No, but what I'm trying to
SIR
say is SIR
give you some seats here.
deletions, if you look, yeah, have a look at this. How much it has shaved the Trinamool Congress margin. Now the Trinamool Congress victory margin in Hooghly is 19,915 across the 18 seats. That's the average victory margin. Look at the average deletion. The average deletion is 17,333 seats. So 19,000 ka victory margin, you brought it down to
No,
less than
what the
2,000.
assumption here
What
is-
if all 17,000
Yes.
have not polled?
Not have polled. Or
Maybe they were absent at the time of enumeration. They were absent. They were there. They're found to be dead or duplicate voters, and it's all possible that all of them or most of them or majority of them have not
you're
voted.
right.
There
You've
is a,
got
that
one
is
point,
a,
and
that
that's
is
an
a what if
important
scenario,
point. No, no,
but
hang
this
on.
is also a what if scenario.
And even if they have voted, they may have voted in
To
equal
be fair to
proportion.
Yeah,
GVL
correct.
Narasimha, see, he's wearing a cephalogist hat right now, and
Correct.
he's actually right. We don't also know if all of these individuals voted for the TMC.
Yes.
Whether they were bona fide TMC voters. We can only assume, given the vote shares, etc., and the demographic composition, that a substantial number
this
might be of
thing
TMC.
is this merits a deep dive, especially look at Purba Bardhaman. Again, 16 seats. The BJP did not crack Purba Bardhaman. BJP did not crack Kolkata. Look at the differentials. 16,688 deletions, whereas the average victory margin for the Trinamool is 14,951. So if the Trinamool Congress is going to look and see, out of these 16,688, all 16,688 are not going to be dead, did not vote, etc. There will be a certain number of voters, and that cashier voters could be pro-TMC and also pro-BJP.
Yeah, sure.
And the Trinamool would want to believe, or perhaps on the face of it, one would make an assumption, since this is the victor, and this is a huge margin across 16 seats, it's the TMC that's going to be more worried than the BJP. Who will smell opportunity? Well, obviously the latter, if it's a two-horse fight. Now, again here, 57,455. Kolkata, it's always been 11-0. The BJP has not been able to break into Kolkata. The highest number of deletions, average number of deletions across constituencies has been in Kolkata this time
And
around.
add to this the
And-
numbers that
And 19
Nalin has put out, that in Kolkata on these 11 constituencies, the margins were narrow. So if you add that, there is a preponderance.
And it's
of-
Mamta Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee.
That's
there.
why
Yeah.
today,
So
and
we've
you know,
got to
I want
watch
to-
that.
I actually want to pull out that visual, if we can bring out that visual of Mamta Banerjee, first thing in the morning, on the streets
Yeah.
in a particular ward where actually the BJP has some vestigial support. Right? She's out there. It has never happened.
Chakraberia
I've
area
spoken-
of Bhabanipur.
I've
Yeah.
spoken to a large number
There's
of
a
correspondents.
mixed crowd in Bhabanipur, which she probably took for granted in the earlier
No,
election.
no, but this is unprecedented because she used to show up. Remember, at 4
In
in
the
the evening,
afternoon,
in the
yeah.
afternoon, she would rise late. She would come
True.
out. She's been out there at 8
So
in the
her
morning.
neighbors have also said that we have never seen Mamata Banerjee coming out like this, the way she did today. We've not seen her, even though some of them used to say that we vote for her because we know she lives in this area. Who will we vote for? Who will we go to if it's the BJP that we want to vote for? So that local factor is there. But the point is that this booth level, this minute granular support generation that the TMC does, the BJP did not have on the ground in Kolkata. It didn't have even in rural areas. But in the past 5 years, it has built that cadre. And in Bengal, they fight it like a war. They fight that whole political battle like a war. So it's like going in, and doing a kind of a mobilization of the crowd and doing a carpet bombing of voting that happens. I'm using a lot of war terminology for some absurd reason.
Yeah.
But it seems to be like that, Otherwise, how do you explain this 90% voter turnout that has happened in rural and urban Bengal? The apathy that you see, like Chetan was mentioning,
nahi, ye dekho
in
baat.
urban Delhi or in urban, in these pockets of where the rich and mighty live, even there people have come out, stood in line and voted, despite earlier they used to say pressure hota hai, of the goons, etc. But you didn't see any kind of pressure today, despite what you were seeing, some violent,
Yep.
sporadic incidents.
Those are the
90%
pictures.
of voting.
That's
Achha,
Mamata
but-
Banerjee.
Haan.
When have you last seen this? This is, and look, credit must be given where it's due.
Yeah.
She is fighting. She is fighting till the last vote is polled. And that is, one has to sort of
This
go
is-
out there and respect her instinct there.
These are
to protect
pictures from
herself.
Not 24 Parganas, Rahul.
There you
These
go.
are pictures, and there are clashes, there is fight, there
My
is argument
gosh.
going on. These are pictures just coming in. They're trying to force the gate open. We try and see what the story is.
Let me have
But
a
there's
look.
there's
Let me
some-
have a
there's
look
some
at what,
huge drama that's happening.
what,
Can you go big on the pictures, and is there an audio coming through?
Yes.
Okay, no, we don't. It's come from ANI only,
It's-
so
it's,
Smita Prakash would be able
but
to.
it's
her team will be able to
It's been
update.
it's been a TMC stronghold, but this time I think it is BJP's best hope is North Parganas, if I'm not mistaken. You're talking about South Bengal, that's the best hope the BJP has out here.
Yeah,
But
it-
it also houses a number of refugees in this area. So if they have come to vote, if they are angry, not angry, which way they are voting, this phase is absolutely essential for
Matuas
TMC.
and the refugees have actually not benefited from SIR.
They've not. They are angry,
Percentage
but
of
will they
deletions.
punish the BJP for being angry and annoyed because there's so much at stake for the Matuas?
ये देखिए अपनी संदूक भी लेके आए
हाँ,
हैं,
वही
ये
मैं
डिजिटल
थोड़ा सा
संदूक,
घबरा रही
नोटपैड
थी।
सब लेके आए
Sir,
हैं,
I want
अमिताभ
your view
बाबू
on
सब
this.
लेके आए।
We are going
वो
on about
push
this
this on
higher
the side.
turnover and all. In fact, the outlier here is the higher
Turn out, यार, तो अभी भी तुम business language use
sorry,
कर रहे
turn
हो।
out, sorry.
He's such a money-minded guy that even here he's talking about turnover.
No, so
Yeah.
the point being, this turnout has never been there.
So-
And this kind of SIR deletion has never been there. So the easiest explanation is not like the SIR took away the TMC voters or those. It just means that the SIR deletions were dummy voters. They never existed.
Exactly.
That's why
Cleaning up.
it's a cleanup exercise. That's why you
Like
see
you-
the
like
real
you-
outlier is the turnout. The turnout has never been this in any election in India.
Yes.
And never been so it is just a scrubbing of junk data.
Like you
It is
clean balance sheets, this is cleaning of the...
yeah, and to say that it is a TMC voter, then how come suddenly there's been a
Just-
massive boost in turnout?
Just
I mean,
a
this
pause-
actually, this
pause in
high
the
turnout
conversation
validates the
just to,
SIR
direct your
exercise.
attention to these pictures, visuals coming in from Not 24 Pargana. There is a candidate, clearly there has been some violence, pushing, shoving, the CRPF coming in between. They are all trying to get very agitated. We try and go across to Kamalika. This is a BJP and TMC clash. That's the house of a person. That person has gone inside the house. Women have locked the door, saying, "Don't come out." The lady is actually trying to. She's clearly looking very, very tensed, in a state of fear, trauma. The cameras are rolling, but she is trying to, and then you've got the CRPF standing in there. So this is the beginning. There you go, pushing, shoving, hitting. Then there you go, punching. That's what's happening. He's chasing that person down, and then they come back. Then they're going away, running away, and then the cops are coming in between, trying to say, "Don't do this." Then there is a lot of profanity being used, so we'll try and keep the audio down in between. But then there is a chase back again, and somebody's running back. There are a lot of cops, but they are allowing this roughing up happening. Before the separation happens, there is a lady there, and the lady is pushing this person away. There you go, again with a stick, somebody hitting somebody with a stick. There you go again. Very dramatic visuals. The police are just standing there, even as they clearly are just trying to block. They clearly are just trying to block. That lady has gotten a few lashings. This person who was chased away earlier has come back with a stick. So this is what's happening. You hit me, I'll go get some sticks, come back and hit you. And this is the kind of level of intensity of the exchange that we are seeing. And then that person who first assaulted is gone. Arjun Singh is seen there. We'll try and get him on the phone, or we'll try and get Kamalika to get us some more details as to what's happened. There you go. There's more hitting. Punches and thrusts that's happening. Huge hits. This is where it all started. This is where it all started.
It looks like a movie.
It's like a movie.
But it's live.
This is live. The cameras are rolling. This is real action, and this is
worse than gangs of Vasai. If you go there, the pole violence is for real, and it does not happen in any other state in India.
Yes.
In any other
I
state.
thought Bengalis are the intellectual, peaceful people.
but they also
They
carry the
always
sickle in
have
their
this
hand and the
culture
desire
of
to
political
do violence. Except for election time, and at the Para level this time around, what we are seeing is only 10% of what was witnessed in 2021 and what was
And they
witnessed in
don't care that
2021.
their cameras are shooting it. I mean, they don't stop.
No, I mean, some
It's a lot,
intellectuals
yeah.
will tell you that this is not TMC culture. This culture has always been there, prevalent in Bengal.
From the left.
So why
It
is
came-
TMC not stopping it
Yeah.
for the past 15 years?
Because most of the left has moved either to the BJP
They're
or
the
to the Trinamool,
mercenary
and they
gangs
carry on the
which are
same
used.
act.
It's the same
And
way
the
like in
police is also,
Pakistan,
I'm seeing the police is
unfortunately.
also watching the show.
Do you
like, kind
know
of-
there was a panchayat election
Yeah.
that was held, and
More
I
than
think we
100
brought
people
that
were
up in a
killed.
debate just the other day in 2018,
Yeah.
where it's shocking, but 18,000 candidates did not show up out of a list of about 56 or so. It was almost 40% did not show up. The Supreme Court said what is happening in this country.
Yeah.
And that election wasn't countermanded. The State Election Commission, which is really under the imprint of the state government, allowed those results to stand.
And it
So
was
you-
a very
you-
violent
It was a paper
election.
ballot. It was a paper
Uncontested
ballot.
The story of
Very
Trilocham
violent
Basu, I'll
election.
never
Very
forget that
violent
boy.
election.
He was found hanging on the tree outside the
Yes.
gaon. He was found
So
hanging.
she has been
Trilocham
trying
Basu
to
story.
protect the turf by using by
By this
unleashing
brazen
violence.
intimidation. A woman candidated the panchayat election. As she was walking with her father, her pacha and her dupatta was snatched. She was slapped, and she said, "Go."
Gaji,
And this is
women
all
are
on camera.
supposed to be the
It's all on
less
camera.
aggressive. We men are the fighters. We men are the ones who don't know how to. We choose
No,
violence.
I think violence also, Chetan, I mean, if I don't want to be obsequious in saying this, but violence is something that one chooses to do. So it doesn't depend upon the gender. Here, what Rahul is mentioning about the panchayat election, Anand too, the fact is that these are mercenary gangs and they are employed by whoever is in power, unfortunately. And you can't do a value judgment, you know, that it is now or before, or, you know, this party or that party. Whichever party has come to power, this has been the way. And people come on television channels and say कि हमको fear नहीं है, Bengal में women are fearless. I'm sorry, you are talking about a very elite percentage who goes to vote, who goes to the market, who goes to do whatever, who don't have fear factor. This is fear. The way she was slapped around out here, pushed and shoved. This is fear. She might be fighting back, but she's fighting back out of fear. She's fighting back out of wanting to exercise her democratic right. So this is something that everybody should ensure, not just men out there and the security forces. This is something the Bengalis should also do it.
Right, she may be from the BJP, but those 48 hours in 2021 where there were no central forces and the BJP top leadership from the center had decamped even before the dust
Jaan
settled.
pyari hai, Anand.
No, dust settled. They had all taken their flights. So I'll be honest with you, and I know this for real. There were more than 200 people inside her compound area seeking refuge.
Wow.
saying हमको बचा लो नहीं तो हमको मार देंगे. This is
Even
in
election
Kolkata.
officials.
This is in Kolkata.
Just
this
a
is in
couple of weeks
Kolkata.
back.
This
And
is
what
like 2026. This like sounds like 1980s.
No, this
India
is in
boot
2021,
capturing and all.
Chetan. This happened in 2021 in those 48 hours across assembly constituencies where the BJP
Yeah,
tried to
it's
fight this
unfortunate, but
So
let's have a
that's the
look at
reality.
the turnouts now in another
Let's do it. We're
geography
supposed to take a
and
break, but we're not
denominations.
taking a break. We're
Yes.
going back. Let's look at this. Let's try and break up and say where are the classifications. 7 different metrics that we tried to look. We put out the number saying there need to be 3 crore voters in absolute numbers to exceed the phase 2 turnout of last time. But overall right now, the total number of voters in both the phases put together have already exceeded 2021. That's what's happened already because we got an 89.9% voter turnout. But if there are, let's look at the Muslim dominated areas out of these 142 assembly constituencies in phase 2. When I say Muslim dominated, where Muslim population is greater than or equal to 30%. So, but before that, let's look at this. We get to that in a bit. Year after year, a higher voter turnout, change in government, yes or no. So 2001 it was CPIM, again in 2006 with a higher turnout it was again the CPIM, but then in 2011 with a phenomenal 3% jump you had the Trinamool Congress come in. After that the Trinamool Congress has actually seen retained power with a dropping voter turnout. 84, 82, 81%. The absolute number of voters would have may have gone up, but the overall percentage of voters has come down. Then you have after 2021, 2026, look at the jump. A phenomenal overall, about 10%
Can I
jump
tell you one more
from
factor
the last
we may
time
be
around.
missing? This was COVID. This was during COVID.
21, yeah.
So maybe a few less people go to vote, right? I mean, it's presumably possible. Then you have SIR deletions, and therefore you go to 92. I mean,
92. But one thing which begets, and this is subject to argument, not confirmation and speculation, is that how many of these votes actually were genuine votes? If it was COVID at that time, and plus the SIR deletions have deleted a huge number of votes, and despite that these votes were shown as polled. Now then you would also want to ask, then what were the number of genuine voters in 2024 Lok Sabha elections also, because they were also conducted with the same voter list that was done without an SIR. So that raises this question between the assembly elections when the Lok Sabha elections have been held. So that is something which perhaps once the numbers settle and we know post facto, we will have to do a deep dive. But Amitabh, this is possible. In this voter turnout list, in this number of 81.56%, there could have been a huge number of bogus voters.
I mean, Bengal has been known for scientific rigging actually. And if we assume that there is a certain percentage of bogus voters here, then it means that the turnout has actually increased by a higher number. Because we are comparing 81 as the base, and if there was bogus voting and then subsequent SIR deletions or purification, then it means that the turnout has increased by even higher number than 12%. Yes, Chetanji is correct when he is saying that there is a base impact, but we have done this calculation earlier also, that even after accounting for the SIR deletion, there is an organic growth of voting to the tune of almost 6% in phase 1, that is more than 20 lakh voters per in phase 1, which is almost 14,000 voters per seat.
Right. One of the questions is, and let's quickly move on, one of the questions is, vote zyada kahan pade? Which regions? So let's look at the Muslim dominated areas or where Muslim population is greater than or equal to 30%. What is the voter turnout in phase 2 in these seats? This is the turnout till 3 p.m. This is the 2021 turnout, and the Muslim percentage of Muslims greater than 30%. Goghat has a higher Muslim percentage of 74% Muslim population. The turnout in 2021 was 89%. By 3 p.m., 84% had already come out to vote. So a high Muslim concentration of the votes, and clearly because they are, and despite that, in 2021, BJP was the winner in Goghat because the votes may have split between the ISF, the Congress left, and of course the Trinamool. But the turnout is high. In Baduria, again, turnout quite high, 87% turnout, 69% Muslim population. In Bali, 68% Muslim population, 71% turnout in 2021. This time it is higher, 75%. And both these seats were Trinamool. Again, a Trinamool bastion, Karimpur, 59% Muslim population, 87% turnout in 2021, 81% this time. Khanakul, where the ISF and the Trinamool were at loggerheads today, 46% Muslim voter base, 78% turnout then, 81% turnout this time around. So this is again, this is where the BJP scored, because perhaps a split between the ISF and the Trinamool of the Muslim vote. There can also be counter consolidation, so you can talk us through 25-30% Muslim population in Gogat, 26%, nearly about 30%, 31% in Baduria. Again, Singur, nearly 39-40% Muslim population, 84% voter turnout, 81% already at 3 p.m. So this could also go above, despite it being with him. Falta, again a place, Jahangir Khan, and there is a lot of action. Ajay Pal Sharma was here, and he was the one who was trying to tell people, and Abhishek Banerjee saying that we will defend it. 87% voter turnout, they said, in this Falta region. 75% already by 3 p.m. But this is lower than the 3 p.m. average. At 78.69%, this is about 3.6% lower. That we must keep that in mind. Sandesh Khali, again 86% voter turnout, and this one 79% now. There is no Sheikh at this point. He's gone. He's out of the mix. So what happens here? This was again TMC. And Bashirhat Uttar, 87% turnout with a 33% Muslim base. It is 79% already in terms of voter turnout, above the overall average, or just mirroring the state average at 3 p.m. This is below, this is above, this is above, this is above, this is 3.6% below, this is about 1.6% below, and this is way above, again clear above. So they have 1, 2, 3 and 3 of these regions, seats, Baduria, Bali and Falta, which were below the state average at 3 p.m. Let's look at the Hindu voters. And if we have the Hindu voters, let's quickly look at the Hindu votes and Hindu dominated seats where the voter base is more than 70%. What we have taken is seats dominated by Hindus, where the Hindu percent is more than 70%. So this is Hingalganj, Ranaghat, Purusra, Krishanganj, Barakpur, Bashirhat, Dakshin, Rashbihari, from where we have Mr. Dasgupta. He is actually contesting, Kolkata Port and Howrah Uttar. And here again, if you were to see one, that is Ranaghat, then you have Kishanganj, and this is again all these three, plus we've got Rashbihari and Kolkata Port, which are about 2 to 3% below the state average at 3 p.m. The rest seem to be somewhere close or above in terms of the state average. So there is no clear pattern, but there are certain seats where, despite being an overwhelming number or a stronger number, the voter turnout is 1 to 3% less. Should we read much into it? Amitabh Tiwari, GVL Narasimha Rao. GVL?
I think across both Hindu and so-called Muslim concentration seats, there is no typical pattern. There is no one-way increase or one-way decrease. So I don't think community is appearing to be a major factor in terms of determining the level of turnout.
So
No, I
30%
think
Muslim
there is a
vote,
trend.
right?
Yeah.
30%, not Muslim vote, 30% Muslims in the state.
Yeah.
And if they are anyway traditionally TMC voter, because they are an anti-BJP voter, so in a kind of a polarized situation where you have two parties now, so let's take away the CPI and say, let's take away the Congress. If it's a polarized election and you're saying that the Muslim voters are going to do a non-BJP voting, so they were anyway non-BJP voters, so maximum you will see is an increase in percentage of Muslim voters. So if you imagine that there are X number of seats where they were voting anti-BJP, they're going to vote anyway, so more voters, more anti-BJP vote, just that's
She
it.
might be right. That might actually be more
Let's go back
of
to the
a
Muslim
sign that
dominated
they are
seats.
pre-decided, they don't really need to do much, they've decided to vote for the TMC, they don't have to come out in such big numbers because they are, by the dint of being the majority in that particular pocket, going to make the TMC win. So I think that's one of the reasons
Let's look
why.
at the Muslim dominated seats, and
Yeah.
interestingly, and getting your perspective, because a
Nadia,
lot of these
Murshidabad and all these areas,
this is in this phase. It's not phase 2, phase 1.
Oh,
It's
okay,
phase
you're
2.
talking about phase 2.
So these are all seats in phase 2. We're going to the vote today. So this is today. Now interestingly, in a lot of these seats where the Trinamool Congress is holding sway currently, there is a multi-cornered fight because the Congress is active, the ISF is active, and you also have the left being active. So the Muslim votes could actually be split and they may not necessarily be concentrated, because today largely we have seen reports of the ISF and Trinamool Congress clashing in Khanakul. There is of course clashes with the BJP in Falta, where the Trinamool Congress was holding sway.
If you really look at these 2 or 3 seats here,
Singur,
I think
Falta.
these are very interesting seats, because Falta is of course the bastion of Abhishek Banerjee, and there I don't know how it's going to end up, but certainly
it's 3% less than the state average, 3.5%.
3% less than the state average. So the enthusiasm that perhaps is greeted other parts of the state is lacking by 3 percentage points, but it could just be a localized factor. It could be that already you have a bastion that doesn't really need to come out and elect, and most of these are TMC seats. So
see, and Sandesh Khali Bashirhat, they have a history. They have a history of the violence. They have the history of Sheikh coming in and the ED crackdown and this whole drama. Last time, a lot of voters said they couldn't go out to vote.
But just have a look at these seats where the BJP has done better. There, the turnout is more than the state average at 3 p.m.
Correct. Here and also at Gogat.
So that is very interesting, isn't it? I mean, that tells you that here the contestation is much deeper, more fierce, because fundamentally there is more at stake, and it could be that in some of these pockets the Muslim population doesn't automatically determine the TMC's fortunes. Now those are the exchanges. Now we don't quite know, we don't have the exact demographic breakup here. These could be seats that have just 30% more.
No, these are all 68%. See, Karimpur 59%, Muslim population 46%.
So there you have a situation. Well, there you have a situation where clearly the polarization is extreme. And I don't know how the BJP ended up winning.
That's because the Muslim vote was split.
The Muslim vote
because there is ISF, Congress, and
so is this higher turnout therefore going against the BJP this time? Because
or pro? We don't know.
Muslims are voting
we don't
in
know
a complete
because see, this
block.
turnout was to 89% here, so there was a high turnout. Anyways, this is 84%.
Yeah.
So Goghat is a different story there.
But it's already polling above the state average at that time. So that 89% number is going to be breached. Is it because there are certain voters who are determined now to ensure that they make sure that the BJP is defeated? We don't know.
We don't know. But this 89 is again 7% more than the state average back in 2021, which was 82%.
Yes.
So Goghat by default has polled higher than the state average and higher than average at all points.
But it is interesting. At a 74% Muslim population, the BJP wins. There must have been dramatic split. In the
there's a Muslim candidate also here.
Yes.
If I remember.
So essentially what we are seeing is a clear pattern in districts. So if at 5 p.m. we have 89.99, so let's say 90 percentage, Hooghly and Purva Bardhaman, who are Hindu majority, more than 75% Hindus, clearly have more than 90% turnout.
Let me give you the last election statistics for Goghat. BJP won with a small margin, but BJP polled 46.6%. So either this Muslim number is being exaggerated, no, whether it's SC or otherwise, a Muslim voter can choose to vote for whichever party he wishes to. But here, either Muslims have voted for the BJP in this constituency,
possibly, because that's the
Abhishek
only way the
Banerjee
maths
has
is adding
just
up.
tweeted that one person died because of being pushed around by central forces. So he's obviously very angry and he's used very strong wordage in he says merciless violence against unarmed civilians. It happened over about an hour ago.
It's an elderly gentleman.
Uday Narayan.
And apparently the entire TMC leadership is tweeting in
all of them
on this. So they're trying to call out the fact that this is despotism.
Yeah, so just a couple of or maybe 1.5 hours before poll shuts, this kind of visuals being tweeted by Abhishek Banerjee is going to get the cadres to get a little more agitated to make sure that whoever they want to come to the booth and their cadres to come there.
But at 90% voter turnout at 5 p.m.
The presumption is that that there are people who want to vote and who are being stopped from voting as far as they are concerned.
Okay, the cynic or somebody would, my condolences to the family, and of course nobody should lose their life, absolutely. But Trilochan Mahato downwards, there is a long list that goes up to about 900 such people who've been culled because of poll violence in the last 7 or 8 years. So we would like the Trinamool Congress to hold a flag and also put out those names and commemorate those who died violence and not necessarily because of atrocities of the central forces. So sometimes, when there is such outpouring of outrage over the death of a particular person by one political party, you have to also turn around and say, do they have a rich history of poll violence themselves and culling people? So that's another question. But let's hope that we are able to bring justice to whoever has perpetrated
And let's
whatever
hope
has
this is
caused
the
the
last
death
election
of that
that we are seeing these kind of visuals.
Whatever has caused the death
Yeah.
of that person is unfortunate, and whoever is responsible should be brought to book. Yeah. Okay. Now we got the updated numbers in the Muslim seats. Let's go back to these numbers, and here is the wow. So now there you go. These numbers then way above the state average. They've also beaten the previous tally of 2021. All the seats are above the previous year's average.
Yes.
But some of them are below the state average of 90%. So
Yes.
1, 2, 3. That is Bali. There is Khanakul, where again the ISF and Trinamool were fighting, Rahul. And of course Falta, where Abhishek Banerjee and this whole fight that's going on. So they are below the state average.
So look, I mean, it's very difficult to read a pattern here, but the fact is that it's quite clear that both sides had been able to bring out the vote. Now, I know that there are a couple of errors here. Apparently, Gogat doesn't have 74% Muslim population, so we just need to check that number once. That number is much lower. It's also a reserved SC seat. That explains perhaps how the BJP won with 40% of the vote. So clearly, this is statistically not aligning, but given the fact that the turnout there is higher than the state average at that time, tells you that the BJP is being able to bring out, to safeguard its seat, as well as the TMC are being able to bring out their people to vote, which means these are heavily contested seats. Now, whether this means that the BJP is going to gain from this bump, we don't know. But I'm just very interested in seeing this BJP seat. This other BJP seat also, the turnout 86.8, little under the state average. We'll have to look at the number here.
But look at the difference. There is an 8% jump from the last time around.
That's right.
And many are saying this is because of the presence of central forces that the voter has been empowered to come out and vote.
That's
This is a place where the ISF is keenly contesting against the Trinamool Congress too. While there is also
and there
the
has
BJP
been violence or clashes in the morning. The ISF has come out and had a bit of a rant and a tirade against the TMC here.
So this is interesting.
Yes.
Sandesh Khali and Bashirhat, where there were a lot of riots, Hindu migration happened, exodus happened in Bashirhat, Uttar. Sandesh Khali again, the whole story saga itself, and they are they are showing at least about 4 to 5% bump up.
Could there be a change, because the Muslim population there is 33% or so. So 1 in 3 voters is a Muslim. So you have a Hindu consolidation happening? We don't know.
Because compared to last time, they're already gone up.
Absolutely.
And they're also polling above the state average.
And this is 5 p.m. So you can correct that number upwards by maybe 1% or 2. So how many are going to now show up between 5 p.m. and 6:30 to vote? I mean, I'm just estimating it could be 3% at the max.
2 to 3%,
Yes.
The point you're making, Khanakul, that's a classical swing seat in Bengal, where demography and swing and organization all matter. If BJP has to win, it has to win seats like these, and Trinamool, if it has to win, it has to defend seats like this. For example, with the 25 to 30%, roughly around 30% Muslim vote here, the Muslim vote is very important, but it's not alone, it's not decisive by itself, which is why everything else matters in a seat like that. And I think there are about 20 to 30 other seats like that, where organization and a little bit of swing can really make a difference.
There you go.
So 5 to 10,000.
So this is what I'm saying. There seems to be, Anand, some sort of mobilization. Don't forget that we haven't actually printed this across the SIR. We don't know. So that makes this very interesting.
If you triangulate it based on the SIR deletions, then the margins of victories could actually be shaved.
Absolutely.
Or there could be a difference or an impact that could happen
in a number of these seats. Let's look at these 5 seats here. The Muslim population is less than 50%. So it's certainly not the majority population, which means that there is leeway for these seats to perhaps turn the other way. if
Yeah.
there has been consolidation and there is a Hindu swing.
Now, if you just quickly, if you get the Hindu votes also, that's also updated.
Yeah.
But one thing that you make a very logical point here is that both parties, the Trinamool and the BJP, have worked towards mobilizing their support and their voters.
Yeah.
Now, look at where the Trinamool, the Hindu-dominated seats, the Trinamool had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the seats, whereas the BJP had only 3 of the seats where Hindu-dominated seats in
But
this
look
region.
at the jumps in the ones that the TMC has been holding. I mean, just see the jump, the turnout in 2021, let's say.
Correct.
In Kolkata Port, 64 has gone to 87.
87. So that means that
I mean, we're
the
talking
Trinamool-
about 22%, 23%
Correct.
jump.
This is a story in itself. If you look at this, if you look at these numbers, this shows that somewhere there was intimidation or the voter was dissuaded or disenfranchised, not wanting to come
Or
out
didn't
to
feel
vote.
encouraged
Or
enough.
didn't
Let's
feel
be safe.
encouraged. Didn't feel encouraged.
Let's be safe.
Yeah, let's be safe. Didn't feel encouraged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats. Why is that question? See, Bashir
I
had
mean, I can understand had this bump up been by 3% or 4%. But here, I mean, this is 11, 12%.
You know, this is Bashirhat. Again,
yes.
Bashirhat Dakshin.
Just
So-
look at this, this is 25%.
25%.
That means one voter out of 4 has suddenly decided to vote.
Here,
Right.
21% in Barakpur.
Absolutely. 64 to 87%. You have 68 to 87%. There is something churning on the ground.
Rahul,
Or
Basira
this-
section is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this is not a swing seat. This is a core Muslim dominated seat.
Core
So
Muslim
something is
dominated
changing
seats,
here.
Something is changing.
That-
Someone has come out to make themselves heard and felt.
Felt and look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yes.
6 seats
Yeah.
are below the state average.
That's right.
6 seats in Hindu dominated states
Yes.
are below the state average, but they are way above what they polled in percentage in 2021.
Yes.
That's the point I want to make for something like Basira Dakshin. If you are seeing a very high shift,
No.
then it means that near Hindu consolidation on the other side.
Yes.
That's possible.
Yes.
Amitabh Tiwari, agree,
Yeah,
disagree? This
essentially
could
what
be a
we have
result of
been-
Hindu consolidation
what we
because the
have been
Muslim vote
discussing
would have
earlier.
already matured here.
Yeah,
in terms
what
of
we have been discussing earlier, if you see the Muslim dominated seats, the turnout was already 5 to 6% higher than the base turnout of 2021. Here you see the average turnout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seats are below the state turnout. Correct?
Correct.
So when more number of people are turning up, it can be safely assumed that the Hindu community, depressed, deprived, not feeling enthused, as Rahulji is mentioning, has come out and vote because it sees confidence, secure, safe, and that is how the higher turnout is being achieved in
So
the
I have
state.
to say
Rahul,
on that
can I
point,
just
I have
add
to
up?
say on
Yeah.
that point, and Smita Prakash, let me quickly bring you in on that. The other card that the TMC suddenly pulled out of its front pocket is this one. Oh, the BJP is clearly underconfident because if it was winning, why does it need to ensure that security forces need to stay on in Bengal for weeks after the poll? Smita Prakash, your reaction to that?
Fair and fearless polling is something which is not just our duty, it's our right. So if it is our right and we want to exercise that right, it is essential that the state provide us a secure condition to exercise that right, and if it's a privilege, even that. Right? It ought not to be a privilege, it ought to be a right that we are exercising out here. So if that means that the track record of the state is so poor that for people to go and vote fearlessly, you need state security, because otherwise ulta tang denge, ulta tang diya, jaan se maar diya, these kind of things have happened. So you can't brush it under the carpet under this whole Bengali Asmita has been hurt because you are bringing in the central forces and you're accusing us of tampering with the polls. It's happened.
It's happened.
Bihar never complained about it when the central forces were brought in. The Naxal areas of Chhattisgarh and
Tamil
Jharkhand
Nadu
never
hasn't
complained about it. We've had fearless polling which has been done in these Maoist infected areas, which has not seen, I mean, people have not been able to go in those areas. Nobody complained when central forces went out there and helped in that, but here there are.
9 minutes.
less than 9 minutes.
9 minutes.
And the khela from Amitabh Tiwari will begin.
Yeah. Isha, yes,
GVL
yes.
Narasimha Rao wants to come.
Yes, yes.
The Kolkata port, where you showed a near 25% rise in polling percentage, that in the last 3 assembly elections,
Yeah.
this assembly polled only 65%.
65%.
65 in every election.
Can we call that
And
up?
now you have that going up to 85-90%.
The Hindu
okay, so there is some story happening there. So my suggestion to you is, by the time I think we have exit poll projections, if you can look at all constituencies which have polled below, let's say, 70% in the 2021 elections, let us look at their behavior in this election.
Oh, that's a good one. So cephalogist to cephalogist, we got to ask Amitabh Tiwari to try and help us churn out that number, that all assembly constituencies across phase 1 and phase 2 that polled less than 70%.
No, in the last election, now they may all have
2021.
polled.
No, I'm just saying across phase 1, phase 2, which
Comparatively.
polled less than 70 to 71% in 2021.
Correct. And
let's see how they
have
have turned up now, and
Wow.
that's
Be a
the
big
impact
story.
or the
That could
positive
be the story
impact
of this
of the
election.
of the
if you
central
can-
forces.
If you can map them also
Yeah.
by geography, then you will know. Demography and geography.
So there is a
will
point
tell
I
you
want to
as
make, because I remember Amitabh ji's numbers, and he
Yeah.
was talking about these SIR impacted seats across the 4 or 5
For
regions.
a second, I thought you knew the exit numbers already.
No, so when he was doing the SIR calculations, there were gaps of 20% where the TMC had won over the BJP. Now, if you have a turnout that is exceeding 25% over last time, that means those gaps have narrowed significantly. Those margins will dissipate.
Add to that the SIR deletions.
Well, viewers, if this particular phase is so dependent
हमारे पास
on
6
these
minute है,
jumps,
sir.
on
6
these
minute
jumps
है.
of turnout,
Yeah.
Anand, then
6
this
minutes, and
is
let's
an
look
open
at the
election.
VIP seats turnout.
Yeah.
We have 6 minutes. I think we put out the count back or the clock.
Let's have a
but-
look.
But quickly, let's look at
VIP.
the VIP seats. And if you can call the VIP seats here, what is the turnout on the VIP seats, viewers? Let's look at each one of them one by one. We've tracked the VIP seats. Bhawanipur, 61.79% voter turnout in 2021. Look at the jump this time, 85.5%. 85.5%. So Kolkata itself is showing you a 21, 23, 24% bump up in Bhawanipur. Falta and Diamond Harbour. Falta, Diamond Harbour, 88 to 95.95 at 5 p.m. Falta, Diamond Harbour.
बैंडेड वाला
ये तो बैंडेड वाला अभी और दूसरा 2021 कोलकाता पोर्ट 65%. It is 87.4% at 5 p.m. already in Kolkata. Kolkata has 11-0 Trinamool score, the 11 seats of Kolkata. But look at the bump up because of the presence of central forces, no biker vahinis, no intimidation. That's what is the claim on ground. 76 to 89.56%. Now
My
these could
gosh.
also be Trinamool Congress mobilization saying that abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. But this could also be the anti-Trinamool Congress voter who was not allowed to vote or afraid to vote coming out. No boy anymore. 2021, 61% Rash Bihari. And we have Swapan Das Gupta contesting there. Here, look at it, 85.30% at 5 p.m. Look at the jump, 24%. And again, the VIP seat, Sandesh Khali, 86%, it is 91% already. So another 5% jump up, bump up in Sandesh Khali. Then Chandrima Bhattacharya's seat, Damdam Uttar. Look at that, 78 to 88.34. Saurav Sikdar, young leader from the BJP, he is now contesting against Chandrima Bhattacharya, and 88.34. Again a 10% jump up again compared to the last time around. So even in the VVIP seats or the VIP seats, look at the jump. Every seat has jumped up. Smita Prakash.
even the Bhadralok is out to vote, right? That is like kind of significant. I think I'll leave Amitabh to explain that detail as to why there is no voter apathy, even the elite areas in West Bengal. And these, they have like voted for Mamata Banerjee. Last time around there was this iffy situation till the Didi O Didi episode happened. So even then the tilt then suddenly went in favor of Mamata Banerjee, the Bhadralok vote that I'm talking about. So this, I don't know who it will go in favor of. We'll see what the exit polls show us. But clearly Suvendu out there, you know, on the streets today from the morning, working very hard, and then he knows the playbook of the TMC. He came from there, so he knows Didi's playbook. He's shown in the past how he beat her in that, and here he's used it again in Bhawanipur. Will he succeed or not is anybody's guess, but it is interesting to see that there's very high voter turnout in the VIP areas too.
The story is in all Kolkata seats. I think
Yeah.
the 3 seats that you mentioned now.
Yeah.
Rash Bihari, then Bhawanipur, Mamata
yeah,
Banerjee
Mamata
seat,
Banerjee seat.
and then Kolkata Port.
Kolkata
in
Port.
all 3 elections, the poll percentages were in the region of 60 to 67 in all the last 3 elections. And now you see all of them touching 90%.
Correct.
So there is certainly some major churn happening in Kolkata. People have come out to vote.
Sir, there is also one caveat I'd like to put. Were they 65% of 100 and this is now 88% of 85? So will that actually
No,
have
definitely.
an impact
But
on the
still-
absolute
but still
numbers?
there is something that has happened.
But
Something
still,
is happening.
huge gap, no? Rest
But in
of the,
Kolkata, we have to also keep in mind, Anandji, that the SIR deletions are to the tune of 23%. 1 out of every 4 voter has actually.
so that actually
deleted.
is a vindication for the SIR.
It also
So-
could be the bellwether seats if this is what we are seeing, that this kind of deletions happening there, and despite that this heavy voting which is happening, it seems to indicate, which I'm sure when the results come out they'll say dekha isne ye bola. It seems to indicate
how's it
that
going?
there is some kind of a change
How's it
maybe, or some kind of a fearlessness in voting out here. We don't expect that these elite areas would have a sense of fear. So what is it that is doing? It's very, very tantalizing, this kind of numbers coming in from these elite areas.
True. Now less than 1 minute left, and I'm going to ask Nalin Mehta also to come down. Just let's get our energies up, leave Bengal out. We'll get
Caffeine
the final
shots,
voters.
please.
It's
Can we
about
ask
45 seconds. We're going to start with the exit polls and we're going to swing down south first up. So first is going to be Kerala.
I just want to say before, look, let's be absolutely sure that because of these high voter turnouts, it becomes very, very difficult for people like Mr. Tiwari to call today's election today itself. It will be difficult. So phase 2 we should hold back, which we are doing till tomorrow. Phase 1, which happened a few days back.
Later on we will put out in the night.
No,
first,
phase 2 will be put out tomorrow.
tomorrow. Phase 1 we'll put out later in the night.
As we have decided. Phase 1, of course, in
Later
the
in
evening.
the, but first
in
so
the
we'll do Kerala, God's own country.
Yes, that's
we have
right.
To, we have to go to
That's
God's own.
right.
जहाँ
That's
पहले
right.
सबसे पहले election खत्म हो गया था.
Let's put
Kerala
on
and
that.
Assam.
Let's put out the countdown clock.
Will we do
for
the
Kerala.
clock?
The
Do we have?
most sober election that has happened probably in Kerala,
But
right?
you know,
Okay.
very competitive election.
Very competitive.
8,
Very correct.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll take another 5 seconds just to be clear of the EC's danda. Oh, देखो उन्होंने 20 seconds और कर दिया. Saying that नहीं, देखो EC has said 6:30. We'll start at 6:31, but let's stay in the clear because your watch can show a different time than mine.
Yeah, mine is
Err on the side of caution always,
Err
right?
on the side of caution always. So 9, 8, 7. So let's go with Keralam. That's what we're going to do, viewers. Exit poll prediction, CNN News 18. Keralam, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Bengal. Over the course of the next 3.5 hours, we're going to take you through all this exercise, and whatever are the numbers, we take no responsibility. It's all on him.
If it is right, then you take credit. If it is wrong, then put it on me.
There you go, the first numbers. Kerala, 140 seats. The first zone that we are showing you, North Kerala, LDF, UDF and the NDA. These are the seat projections. LDF is actually behind the UDF here. 16 to 20 seats for the LDF, about 140 seats. North Kerala, 48 seats in North, 16 to 20 seats. 28 to 32 for the UDF, 0 to 1 seat for the NDA. Smita Prakash, ये रुझान सही है, or do you feel that they have a chance here? It could be tighter for Pinarayi Vijayan.
I feel that it could go tighter. I don't believe that that it's going to be so clear. I can't. Yeah, no. I just feel that it could be a little tighter than this.
First dissent note has come in. Smita Prakash,
essentially-
please explain yourself. What are these numbers, sir?
Essentially, if you see the range,
Right.
I think the range has been put out.
Range
Yes.
has been put. 16 to 20 is
Oh,
the
it's
range.
north, you just put one range.
Only one. We've
Yes.
not put everything.
Only
One by one.
See, north,
थोड़ा तो suspense रखें.
in north there is a Muslim majority. IUML is the strongest in the north, which is your Mallapuram, Venad, Kozhikode areas. So this is the strong point of UDF. In 2021 Vidhan Sabha election, a large section of Muslims had actually voted for LDF because of better management of COVID. That's how they had won on a higher number of seats compared to 2016. This time there is a significant consolidation of the minorities in favor of the UDF, and that's why we see that this stronghold is going back to UDF. Also, in the home state of Pinarayi Vijayan, Kannur, there has been significant rebellion also against the CPM. A lot of independent candidates contesting either as backed by UDF or on the UDF symbol.